For sentences to make meaning, they need to have punctuation. The following sentence that we're going to look at has had the punctuation removed, and so it's hard to understand. 3 figures leaned against the slanting rain: Alamo, Lasco, Nick, Christopher, and the boy who had run away from home. So because there's not any punctuation, we don't know what's going on. So when you're looking at it, you have Alamo. But isn't Alamo a historical building? And what could it mean by the slanting rain, Alamo? What could that be? If Alamo isn't a building, is it a name or part of a name? But there are 4 names because you have Alamo, Lasca, Nick, and Christopher, but only 3 figures indicated. So which words go together? And we could guess at it. We could make a great guess, but reading shouldn't be that much of a guessing game. If correct punctuation were included in the sentence, we'd understand it easily. So now we have the sentence with the punctuation. 3 figures leaned against the slanting rain: Alamo, Lasca, Nick, Christopher, and the boy who had run away from home. So now the sentence is making a lot more sense. We know who the 3 figures are, and we know what they're doing. But let's pay attention to this colon. Without the colon to introduce the list, the sentence wouldn't be so easily understood. And effective writers are going to use a wide range of punctuation marks, not just commas, to create meaning. Specifically, we're looking at semicolon, colon, and dash. And the following sentences are going to showcase each. There was talk that her father and mother were taking her back to Earth next year. Here's your semicolon. It seemed vital to her that they do so, though it would mean the loss of thousands of dollars to her family. Here we have a colon being used. When he reached the door, he realized what had attracted him: the smell of food. Here's an example of a dash. Because he was still able to move his hands, Maury always spoke with both hands waving. He showed great passion when explaining how you face the end of life. Specifically, we're looking at semicolons, and it's a punctuation mark to join 2 sentences about the same thing. Emphasis on the same thing. A semicolon will tell the reader that the ideas in 2 sentences are closely related. So here's an example. Sweat popped out of the boy's face. He began to struggle. They're both talking about the boy, and they're related because whatever he's doing, the struggling is also making the sweat pop out. So they're related into the actions that he's doing. A colon is a punctuation mark used to signal a list or an explanation. An introductory sentence precedes the colon, telling the reader what to expect, and it's usually that list or an explanation. So it is more than just wind. It is a solid wall of snow moving at gale force, pounding like surf. So here you have the introductory sentence and then the colon that has the explanation particular of this. It is more than just wind. It is a solid wall of snow moving at gale force. So you're getting more of an explanation to the introductory statement. Okay, I apologize. There are 2 typos in this particular part of the movie, so I apologize for that. Looking at a dash, this is a punctuation mark that interrupts a sentence in the middle or at the end. Pay close attention to the middle or the end part. If, that's one of the mistakes. If the interruption is in the middle of the sentence, you're going to use 2 dashes, one before the interruption and one after. If the interruption is at the end of a sentence, 1 dash is used. And a dash is going to tell the reader to expect a kind of PS, or by the way. It's an afterthought. It's extra information that you're adding into that sentence. So your example is, his room looks smaller now, not so much a place to come to as a place to leave. So it's just giving that extra information to the sentence. And it creates more imagery. So, and it has that emotional quality to it. So his room looks smaller now, not so much a place to come as a place to leave. So he's definitely at a precipice in his life that he's leaving something behind. You know, when you go back to middle school or elementary school, those schools seem so small once you're in high school. So it's kind of being reflective. Okay, so here's the work. First, you're going to look at semicolons. And what I want you to do is to match the sentence with a semicolon on the left column to the related sentence in the right column. And then you're going to write out that result. Now, of these 5 sentences, I want you to write out 2 of them. Next, you're moving on to the practicing using the colon. And again, you're matching the sentence with the colon in the left column to the list or explanation in the right column, and then writing out your result. And I want you to write out 2 of them. Now, I do realize you're going to have to pause the movie so that you can actually do this assignment. So now we're going to look at the dash. You're going to match the interruption from the right column to the sentence in the left column, and then write out the result. And again, you're going to write 2 of those. So you should bring 6 sentences to class tomorrow. I apologize for the typos in this. Please forgive me. And I hope that you see, like, all of these sentences come from actual books that have been published, some, more recent than others, but you see how authors are using this punctuation to create meaning, whether it's having that emotional moment or giving that extra information that helps the reader, but it's purposeful within their sentences.